C, confidence. R, resilience. O, optimism. W, willpower. N, non-negotiables. I'm sitting here with Queen. Look how beautiful she is, though. Show them that smile, though. Ha!
Whenever you're ready, say action.
All right, guys, my name is Ernestine Morrison, and this is Beneath the C.R.O.W.N. Confidence, resilience, optimism, willpower, and non-negotiables. And I am honored, so honored to have my friend, actress, rapper, all-around artist, TaRhonda Jones, a.k.a. TaRhonda Jay, on my show today. Some of you may know her as an actress from Empire. Some of you may know her as an amazing rapper who has all type of cool new songs out. I got the juice. Hey. But now she is here on my show, Beneath the C.R.O.W.N., and we are going to talk about how she built her confidence, how she walked in her resilience, how she thinks optimistically, how she had the willpower to become who she is today, and clear non-negotiables that she has set along her journey to become this queen that we see today with this beautiful smile. And let me tell you, when I first met TaRhonda, I meet hundreds of people just being in the business and running our fund and all the stuff that my husband and I do together. We meet hundreds of people weekly, and it's not often that I'm just immediately attracted to someone's spirit where I just want to continue a relationship with them. But her and I did a project for BET together. We'll be coming out real soon. We did a movie together, and it was an amazing cast, and so many of us really connected, and TaRhonda and I really connected. So much so that she's a guest of mine at my house for the weekend. So we are about to get Beneath the C.R.O.W.N. with Miss TaRhonda Jay.
Hey.
What's going on, Queen?
Not much. This is my second time in Atlanta. And I said I would never come back to Atlanta. And then Ernie just kept saying, you gotta come. I call her Ernie, by the way.
First of all, tell them why you said you'd never come back to Atlanta.
I should.
Go ahead.
No, I
we get deep. Let them know.
My first time in Atlanta, I came here a few months back to do press work for my show Empire, and I stayed at a particular hotel. I'm not gonna drop
remain nameless.
Yeah, I'm not gonna drop names, but I stayed at a hotel,
and it was a 5-star.
It was a 5-star hotel. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, like digging in my arm, and I was like, what's going on? And turns out they had bed bugs. And I said I would never, ever come to Atlanta again. It was a horrible experience.
And then when she said she's never coming back, I said, listen, don't let the one bed bug experience turn you off from Atlanta, because we're popping out here. And come back. You can come stay with me. And she took me up on my offer. So now I got to show her a good time this weekend, because she can't be thinking Atlanta's just about bed bugs.
But so far, I had a nice time. Despite of yesterday getting jumped on. I got jumped on. We went to the spa. And I thought it was going to be like an amazing experience, because I saw like a little waterfall as soon as you walk in. I was like, okay, this is a nice ambiance. But then I go in the room, and the man come in there, he massaging me, and he was like knocking and beating and punching, and like not with fingertips, but with his fist. And I was like, yo, I didn't want to say anything, but I said I need to learn how to start opening my mouth more when it comes to stuff like that. But I don't want to hurt people's feelings. So I'm like, I think he doing a good job, but this ain't right. So I'm sore. And I heard a lot of noise and a lot of commotion going on next door to me. It turns out her
I was getting beat up too. I mean, this massage place is also going to remain nameless, but I was getting beat up so much so to where the lady flipped me over completely. My whole table flipped over. I was flatlined, flat on the floor. And then she put me back up on the table like nothing just happened and kept massaging me like,
yo, I'm like, what did y'all bring me to? Because I don't know if I like this.
But for the record, it was only $79 for a whole night.
She got
for a whole 90 minutes.
Point, but is it really worth the $79 of waking up?
$79.
But I did feel good afterwards. I'm not gonna lie, I did feel good afterwards. But when my man Eugene gave me a hug, I'm like, wait, did you just hit me? He was like, I gave you a hug, and I'm like, no, I'm sore. I'm a little sore, but it's a good sore. But yeah, I got jumped yesterday. It's cool. It's cool though.
Okay, so we all know and love you now for your role of Portia on Empire. And it may just seem like, whoa, where'd this girl come from? She just came out of nowhere. She's on Empire, series regular. She's doing this late night show. Where did you come from?
I just came.
You just arrived.
The sky. It's the plane. It's Superwoman. No. I remember working I told you I used to be a butcher for 6 years. I was cutting meat before I came into this business. And then I used to work at a nursing home as an assistant director of nutritional services, cooking. And I remember my brother calling me because my engineer had called him and said, hey, you know, Terrence Howard is looking for female rappers in their 20s. I think your sister would be dope for this role. Tell her to, you know, try out for it and go from there. I went in originally thinking that I was going to audition to rap for Terrence Howard because I thought he was coming out with a Hustle and Flow
She
label.
went in this big audition for this huge show thinking she was going to be a rapper for Terrence Howard.
That was the message that was relayed to me, so I thought that's what it was. But
she thought about to be Hustle and Flow all over again.
I thought it was a Hustle and Flow label. I'm dead serious, like word to my mother. And when I went in, the casting director, Claire Simon, who I love, by the way, she's from Chicago.
Shout out to Claire.
And she kept saying, like, you got your lines, you ready? And I was like, what? Excuse me? Where's Terrence? And then finally I said, you know what? I got to use the bathroom. You know, let me go to the bathroom real quick. And she was like, oh, okay. Hurry up, went over my lines real quick.
First of all, I'm an actress, and I've been on thousands of auditions. I've never, in an audition, in the room, in front of the casting director, say, hold on, I have to go to the bathroom. And they allowed it, like, oh, yeah, cool.
Do it. I think
it's right around the hall.
I think they thought I was nervous, and I had to pee. So I just went with it, because I'm good like that.
That is favor.
I'm telling you.
That
I'm
is
telling you,
favor.
my God is amazing. I went over the lines, and I'm telling you, I couldn't remember a goddamn thing. But I came back out. I knew in the role.
You went over the lines in the bathroom.
Yeah, but the role I originally tried out for was the Tiana role, which is Saraya, who's amazing, who plays the hell out of that part. The singing dancing girl is what I call her. That was a role I originally tried out for, and her character did a lot of cursing. I still have the script to this day. She did a lot of cursing, like, oh, what the hell you doing in my studio session? So I went in, I was like, shit, goddamn, motherfucker, bitch, hold this. And they looked at me and they said, wait.
That's not the lines, ma'am.
And they said, you know what? I got another role in mind for you. Leave your name, number, email. And I said, but I already left you that. What more do you want from me? I gave that to you.
This is what you're telling the casting director.
Yes, I already gave you my name, number, email. Like, what do you want? And then she said, you just let us do our job, and we'll get in contact with you. And that same day, they emailed me the Portia role. And then that night, when I got it, I did study it. Still couldn't remember it because, you know, I wasn't good at remembering
That's
things.
not the world you came from.
No. So I went in, but I did my damn best, obviously. And they said, you know what, can you come back this day? And I was like, look, I got a job. I can't keep leaving work.
I gotta go to work.
I can't keep leaving work. But it was just, I'm telling you, when I always tell people, what's for you is for you. Because the way everything was set up for me, my boss had just changed my schedule because some stuff just was all out of whack at work, and I was just going through a really rough time during that moment. And I remember working 9 to 5, but my boss changed my schedule from 12 to 8. And at that time, I was riding the bus, and my bus stopped running at 8, and I got mad at my boss.
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all, she was riding the bus.
I was riding the bus all my life, and had I not landed the role of Empire, I think I would still be riding the bus.
Let me tell you, there is no room that God put you in that you weren't meant to walk in.
That's right.
There is no room that God allowed the doors to open for you that you don't belong in.
Yeah.
She was riding the bus.
I was riding the bus faithfully, and then my ex-fiance would come pick me up whenever, you know, his time permitted. But I was on the bus. But when my boss changed my schedule from 12 to 8, and my bus stopped running at 8, I said, we don't get out of here exactly 8. We don't get out of here until like 8:45, man.
Hilarious.
How do I get home? My guy don't get home until midnight.
Oh my
How
gosh.
do I do this? And it was just so crazy. And I remember like going home, like being in full just frustration mode because I'm like, look, she's picking with me. This is like, I don't know what's going on. But I remember going in an audition room, and I told my boss, hey, I got some stuff going on. I might like need to come in a little later, but the casting director said come in at 9. Okay, how long is this stuff gonna last? Just about 5 minutes. Okay,
she's telling the casting director this.
I need to know what's going on because I got a job. I gotta go to work. And she told me, I want you to come in at 9 a.m. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. And I still got time to get to work at 12 noon.
Oh, count me in. Sign me up.
Mind you, I was working 9 to 5, but my boss changed my schedule from 12 to 8. It wasn't nothing but God. And that was my first week back at work. I was like a mini vacation, but I was really suspended.
Hilarious.
I was really suspended. It's so much behind the story, and it's amazing. Like, my God is amazing. And I remember that third day I had to go in. That was when I met Lee Daniels. Had no clue who Lee Daniels was. Very familiar with his work, but I didn't know who the hell he was. And I remember her telling me, hey, can you come in at 4 p.m.? Ma'am, 12 to 8 is what time I work. You want me to leave work and then go back to work? No. I don't know if I can do it. And she said, well, it's totally up to you. This is how they talking to me. Because I guess they're like, who does she think she is?
What do you think you're talking to? Like, I have a job.
But Claire was so amazing. She was just like, just do it.
God, favor.
She was so amazing. Mind you, I had no agent. I had no headshots. I had no
experience.
resume, no experience, no anything. And I remember telling my boss, listen, ma'am, can I come in and take, Elaine is one of our head cooks. I'm going to take Elaine's spot because Elaine says she's tired of waking up at 4:30 in the morning to come here and cook for these people. So I told Elaine, take my shift and I'll take her shift. Meaning I'll work 5:30 in the morning, get off at 1:30 and be able to make it there at 4 p.m. She said, oh, you got to come in anyway because I'm not going to be here. So you got to take the 6 a.m. shift. And I get off at 2:30 p.m. I'm talking about the Lord was just setting it up for me. Like, look, listen, ma'am.
Aligning it up.
Ma'am, this is what I'm going to do for you.
What's for you is for you.
And I went in. That was the day I met Lee Daniels. Walked in the room. He started screaming, yes, bitch. Yes. You knew what you were doing when you came here looking like that. And I was like, who is he calling a bitch? Who are you talking to? He was like, you, honey, yes. This is, yes, Portia. Whole time they thought I was in whole character form, like just in character mode. And I'm like, sir, no,
this
sir.
is me. This is me.
Sir. And I remember reciting my lines and he kept stopping me. He wouldn't let me finish. He said, okay, tone it down. Okay, yeah, throw it away. Okay, more. Okay, no, give me less. All right, okay, you're doing too much. Like he kept stopping me. And then finally I just said, okay, listen, either we gonna do this or we not. That's what I was so mad.
You said that to Lee Daniels?
Either we're gonna do this or we're not. And then he said, you know what? Give me a little more. And then finally when he said, just be you. And I remember having on a dress. It was gold, and I had on these gold Chuck Taylors. And I remember he said, be you. And I opened my legs, and I said, like, you said be me. I was getting comfortable. So I opened my legs, and he was like, too much. Close them.
Oh, my God.
Close them. Then finally he said, you know what? You're fucking brilliant. You can leave. And I was like, okay, all right, the gig is up. Where's Terrence?
So you're still, even at this point,
I'm still thinking I'm rapping for Terrence.
After meeting with Claire Simon,
I had no clue. I was
after meeting with Lee Daniels, you're still looking for Terrence Howard.
Where is he? And he's a rap.
Oh my gosh.
Where is he?
Wow.
So he said, you know what, you can leave. And then I had this big suitcase portfolio because I design dresses. And I sketch, I do, you know how the police ask you, hey, is this the person you like? Yeah. I used to do those. I draw, I paint, I do all of that.
It's just everything.
So I had this whole big portfolio full of just junk. Letting them know, like, I said, well, I got other stuff here too that I do. He was like, no, you're good. I promise you, you're good. And I said, no, y'all gonna see this shit. I brought this big ass suitcase here. Somebody gonna see it. He said, ma'am, leave while you're ahead. You're good. And I left. Finally, I said, let me YouTube, because I done been here 3-4 days in a row. I don't know what I'm here for. And I started YouTubing Empire. And I saw the trailer with Taraji, Terrence, and then I saw Lee Daniels' name, gold, with this big black,
Lee Daniels.
the big black backdrop with Lee Daniels popping up. And I was like, Lee. But when before I had YouTubed it, the young lady called me and told me I was on hold. And I said, what the hell
what does on hold mean?
She said, oh, you know, we have you in mind. We love you. Between you and I, Lee loves you. Who the hell is Lee? The guy the director?
The director?
So I'm like, what is a director? Look, what is a director? Finally, I said, let me do my homework. I don't know what's going on. And when I did see it, and I was like, oh my God, wait, she said, between you and I, Lee loves you. Is this the same Lee? So I Googled Lee, and sure enough, it was his face. And then next thing you know, I started hyperventilating. I started like having anxiety. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucked up. Like I sat here in front of this man and I talked to him like shit. And I was sitting up here being combative. And all he wanted me to do was just be me. And I think I messed this up.
Wow.
The next day, they called me. Before they called me,
who made the call? The casting director?
The casting director herself.
Okay.
She really liked me, and we're friends to this day. I love her. And she before they called me, I got a call from a hospital because I was job hunting at the time during my suspension. It was just a lot. I'm not gonna get into deep details about that, but it was a lot going on between my old boss, and myself, and it was real catty. And I'm amazed. Like I work my ass off. Mm-hmm. Anybody who knows me, anybody who come into Queese with me knows that. I take pride in what I do. I take pride in everything that I do. I take pride in anything that I put my heart into.
Yeah.
I'm very serious about my craft. And it was just a lot of stuff going on. And she suspended me. It was like real catty. And I remember her it was something being stolen from me. Mm-hmm. And I accused her of stealing it. And it was my last. And then you suspended me. Mind you, I only had $30 in my account. I have no money in my account at this point. And at that time, I had just got, me and my guy had just got a house. My ex-fiance, we had just got a house. And I only had $30 in my account. $30.
To your name.
To my name.
No savings.
No nothing, because it went to the house.
No,
it went to the house.
Everything that you owned was $30.
Because she took the little bit that I had.
Wow.
Which was crazy.
Wow.
So now I'm down to my last $30, which ended up being $6.62 because, during my week going to work, I had to buy lunch. But this first week back at work was me going to audition for Empire.
Wow.
I wasn't even back at work for a whole week. When they called me and said, you got the role, I also got a call from a hospital offering me $19 an hour saying, you got the job. And I said, oh, I don't know which one to take. I started freaking out.
So you were really sitting there considering $19 an hour over Empire.
Absolutely.
Because you had no clue.
I had no clue. And not only that, but I'm experienced in this. I have a license in this.
This is what I know how to do.
This
I know how to do this. Now, this stuff over here, I don't know this world.
Yeah, but I always wanted to. I knew. You ever feel some type of way where you know you're supposed to be bigger than what you are?
Oh, my God.
You walk around and you say, it got to be more in life than just this. Mind you, I've never flew on a plane.
Wow.
I've never left the city of Chicago. I've never eaten sushi. I've never eaten. It's a lot of things that I hadn't done.
I've never eaten sushi.
It's a lot of. I can name. It's a list. I'm talking about. It's a scroll of things that I've never done before I landed the role of Empire.
Wow.
I didn't have a life. I worked 3 jobs. All I knew was home and work. Home and work. That's it. I didn't even go downtown Chicago where there's a Michigan Avenue. I'd never gone downtown, and this is my city.
We always think we have a plan, and God always says, boom, no, this is my plan. You were really debating $19 an hour.
I was debating an awesome job. Don't keep saying $19 an hour. This was an amazing job.
An awesome job. But God had this for you over here. You didn't even know what was about to hit you.
I didn't know. And when they called me and said, yeah, you got the job. This is what we want you to do. You can come in for orientation. This, that. Thank you.
Wow.
I'll let you guys. Okay, cool. And when I went home, I remember praying. That's the hardest I ever prayed in a long time, because I can never hear him. At least I wasn't quiet or still enough to listen.
Yeah.
And when I prayed, I said, Lord, if this role is for me, because you know what I need. You know I've been trying to get in the entertainment business, whether it's a comedian, whatever, rapping, whatever. If this is for me, I need a sign, and I need it now. Now, a lot of people don't know, my brother was murdered 5 months prior, that April, that year, 2014.
And this is the same brother that is the one who told you to go do this audition?
No, this is my older brother. This is a different brother. This is actually my cousin, but he grew up with us.
Okay.
And I remember keeping a watch of his. And I had that watch April, May, June, July, August.
5 months.
5 months. I remember having that watch for 5 months. And it had never gone off. And when I said, Lord Jesus, if this role is for me, I need a sign, I need it now. And I heard a dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And I was like, what is that noise? It's disturbing my prayer.
It's the watch.
And I started going through my basket of things. And then I finally picked up the watch. A watch that I didn't even know had an alarm on it. And on that watch, the time on the watch was 8:23 p.m. I will never forget it. 8:23 p.m. And I remember stopping the watch. And I remember, getting a little emotional because I knew who the watch had belonged to. And then I looked up, all right, Lord, back to what we was talking about. Where's my sign? I need my sign. And then it dawned on me, and I was like, wait. And then it took me a year later to remember the time on the watch. 823 is a number I always used to play in the lottery, but would never win. And when I was at the nursing home, Rochelle, shout out to you, Rochelle. Rochelle would always tell me to go across the street and play her lottery. And she would never call me TaRhonda or Ty. She called me Tatila because her niece's name was Tashila. But because she had a real bad lips, she would call me Tatila.
I am done.
Tatila, go on across the street and go play my lottery. And I used to be like, all right, cool. And then she'll give me $1 and say, you play 50-50 on yours.
If we win, we splitting it.
Exactly. So 823, I don't know why I chose 823, but 823 was my number. And I remember always playing that number and would never win. And when I don't play the number, the next day it would come. And I used to get so pissed off. Like, when am I, every time I gamble, and I know it ain't right, but every time I gamble, I can't never win. And for the first time in my entire life, I can say that I was a winner when I took this role.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, this role has opened so many doors for me. I'm driving now because when I the first season of Empire, I was still catching the bus.
Wait a minute. So season 1, after you were already cast, and you're part of the crew, you're part of the cast, you're coming to work every day.
I didn't mind
on the bus.
That's what I know. I didn't mind until a few people were feuding. That is her. No, it's not. Now they whispering. You know, I'm a nervous wreck. You know, I'm already paranoid.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Y'all talking about me?
I think so now I'm thinking they plotting on me. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I don't like it. And they were like, excuse me. My friend says you're the girl from Empire, Cookie's assistant, and I keep telling her the Cookie's assistant would never be on the bus. Can you please tell her you're not her?
Wow.
Actually, I am her. So now the whole bus is like, and like they just freaking out. They're asking for pictures. So now I'm giving pictures to everybody on the bus. Hilarious.
Wow.
Hilarious. And after that, I was like, yeah. And I told my ex, like, yeah, I can't get on the bus no more. This ain't cool. And I think this was like after 2 episodes had aired.
Wow.
I think a couple episodes had aired.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
When we're building our crown and we're talking about, I always say building and not wearing, because you don't just wear a crown. You don't wake up and you just have a crown. You don't wake up and just be confident. You don't wake up and just be resilient. It has to be built. So where does your C come from? Where does that confidence come from? That confidence that you're like, I'm on Empire, yep, and I'm still on the bus. Yep, I'm confident enough to walk in front of Lee Daniels and tell him, look, this is what I got. You're going to take it or leave it. I'm confident enough to walk into Claire Simon's office, not having any prior experience in the industry, but I'm walking in like, what's up? Where did that confidence come from?
My grandmother. A lot of people don't know my grandmother was the one who raised me. I got 8 siblings, me and my 8 siblings. And one thing she taught us was like, in a world so dark, you got to be the one to light it up. And I never understood what that meant until I got older. In a world so dark, you got to be the one to light it up. And I used to be like, yeah, like, Grandma, come on now. Nobody want to hear that. Give me $1 so I can go to the store and get these little candy balls. I don't want to hear what you're talking about. All I asked was for the $1. Now you got to give me a whole little speech. And when I got older and started realizing what that meant, because there's so many people out here who can be easily lost. There's so many women who come from where I come from and who don't know how to rise above it. And my grandmother all along was teaching us that. Teaching every last one of us that. Yeah. She always told me, don't closed mouths don't get fed and butter don't spread unless it's on bread. You got to do it on your own.
Yeah.
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody not going to be able to do anything for you. You got to be able to get up, get out, and get it on your own. Because I'm not going to be here long enough to keep holding your hand. Not that she never really had to. And that's the thing I can say I'm most proud of. My grandmother never really had to hold any of our, well, maybe a couple of my other siblings.
It was a couple siblings.
Yeah, but I don't think she ever really had to hold my hand because I always wanted better for myself. And a lot of people don't know that I come from a difficult upbringing, where I was always an optimistic little girl. Like, I will always daydream.
So you always had the O. You always had that optimistic thinking. I
always had the O. And I remember when I first got the role on Empire and I first flew out to the Empire premiere party. It was my first time getting on a plane. Wow. It was my first time going to L.A.
Wow.
And I took a picture. I was at Popeyes. And somebody said, you went all the way to L.A. just to go to Popeyes? I wanted some chicken. And I wanted Popeyes with dirty rice.
You guys have Popeyes in Chicago.
We got Popeyes.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know LA food. I told you, I didn't know anything. You know, that's when I discovered sushi.
You wasn't at Nobu. You wanted some Popeyes.
I wanted Popeyes. I ain't know nothing about Nobu until Future started singing this rap. I didn't know anything.
Hilarious.
I'm telling you, I was in my own bubble.
Wow.
And I remember my sister calling me and saying, and she just started crying. And she kept saying, you made it, sis. You made it, and I'm so proud of you. And then she said, you remember when we were little? You would always sit us in a circle. We would go in the basement after we get done playing, because my grandmother would always tell us to be quiet, because my grandfather used to work a lot, work overnight, and when he's trying to sleep, be quiet. Yeah. Going on down there and play quietly. But because it was so many of us, and we all love to talk, and because there's so many of us, we like, look at me. So it was never a quiet moment. And in order for me, because every time one get in trouble, everybody get in trouble. I'm tired of getting my ass whooped. And I ain't even do nothing. So guess what? All y'all gonna have to shut the hell up. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure I shut you guys the hell up. So what I did was I used to sit, even my older brother, sit them all in a circle. And they would sit there and I would sit in the middle of the circle and I would tell these stories until just like dreams. I'll say, listen, I had a dream. You had your own room. You had your own room.
Wow.
You had your own bed. Because I grew up where, it was so many of us, back then, in the 90s, it was a little struggle. Yeah. It was a little struggle. We were sharing rooms, but we were also sharing beds. You know what I mean? I shared a bed with 2 of my sisters at one point.
Wow.
And it wasn't like no queen size either. This was full size. At one point, it was a twin. So that was hard. Like, get off me. I'm cramping up. But, and I remember I would tell them, like, you had your own bed. You had your own house. You had this. And da-da-da. And I used to tell all these stories. I used to daydream so much. So I started, like, believing these things, which was, it was silly,
you were
but I was very optimistic. I've always been optimistic. And my sister brought it up when I first went to LA, and she said, you remember you used to tell us these stories? Do you remember when you used to tell us how you were going to be this, you was going to be this star, you were going to do this? You made it, sis. And that's all she kept saying.
Wow.
And then it took so much out of me to hold those tears back. I said, I got to go. Because I was trying to hold it in. I was like, I got to go. I don't know. Thank you. I love you, but I got to go. And my godmom was like, who is that? What's wrong? Somebody that made you mad? And I was like, yeah, man. My little dumbass sister, man. And then I just started bawling. And then my godmom like grabbed me, because I don't like being hugged. And she was like, I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna hold you because you deserve it. And she said, for some reason you feel like you don't deserve it, but you deserve it. And from that moment on, I started telling. I had to keep telling myself and keep reminding myself, anything that come my way, I deserve it. Anything that come your way, you deserve it. And you gotta, even if you don't believe, you have to keep telling yourself until you believe it. Yeah. You deserve it.
Absolutely.
I deserve everything that comes my way. I works my ass off.
That optimistic thinking will get you so far. And like you said, you were planting the seeds back then. You were manifesting back then, and you had that optimism. You started building your crown way before Empire.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the R in the crown, the resilience, when I looked up the definition of resilient, is to be bended, to be broken, to be stretched, but being able to bounce back from being bended, broken, or stretched. What are some times in your life where you felt like you were bended, you were stretched, you were almost broken?
I think more so my teen years. And that's when I started looking in the mirror more. But I didn't like what I saw. And not only did I like what I saw, but I was convinced that others didn't like what they saw either. And I remember, like, my sisters, they're beautiful, gorgeous. And when I was coming up, I was this little tomboy. Like, I didn't really care about what I was wearing, because it was like, I'm doing me.
Yeah, I'm out here.
And because I was so funny, nobody really paid attention to me. But then when I started getting into boys and, like, you like me, circle yes or no. And if you circle no, I'm going to punch you. But the guys, they weren't into me. And for a long time, I had to just keep saying, like, it's cool, it's cool. But then the older I got, the more I yearned for just something. And like I explained earlier, because it was so many of us, it was hard to just pay attention to one kid. And because I was that one kid who never got the eyes on her, I started like yearning for some kind of attention. I think that's where my funny side come from, where I love to make people laugh, because that's the only time people actually see me. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And my resilience also come from my mother. A lot of people don't know my mother coming up, because that's one of the reasons why my grandmother took care of my 8 siblings and I. But my mother was going through some trying times. At one point, she still is an addict. She's an addict, and at one point, it was really, really bad to where she wasn't able to take care of us, and we were in the system. Me and my 8 siblings, we were in the systems, and my grandmother refused.
So you guys were you guys in group homes, or were you guys in a foster home?
Surprisingly, no. I don't really know how it went, but when we were put in the system, or like, I think it's on watch, is what they call it. I'm not really sure what it's called, because I don't remember what it was back then. Yeah, but we did have a social worker. Her name was Megan, and she was the sweetest. She was a white woman too. And back then, we know in the 90s, some folks wasn't really like feeling black families and stuff like that, but this lady took care of us as if we were her own. She would literally get this white minivan and take us to like sit on Santa's lap. My grandmother, she worked a lot to make sure it was food on our table. So my aunts, whenever they got a chance, and then it's so hard to get all of us together. Nobody owned a minivan in my family. So we all couldn't do everything at once. All right, you get shoes this week. Next week, you next. Baby, you might have to wait the next month, but I got you. You can't go to the store, or you can't go to the Chuck E. Cheese because it's too many. Somebody gotta get left behind, unless some of our aunties who would pile us up in cars. But you get ticketed after like so many kids being built on top of each other. Now we're like a circus clown car when we get out, because it's 57 of us getting out. But Megan, she was amazing. She had this minivan, and I think she specifically got in the minivan just to cater to me and my 8 siblings.
Wow.
And she would do and when Christmas time came, one thing about my grandmother, Christmas was always beautiful. It wasn't like you get one thing. Cause I remember my grandmother telling me her husband, my grandfather, only used to get an orange or an apple for Christmas. But my grandmother would set aside a corner for all 8 of us, and the corner would be just full of just everything we had written on the list. We didn't know it was QBC. She had to pay right away, but she did it. So my grandfather found that bill, and the bill was in his name, but she made it happen.
Made it work.
She made it. May her soul rest in peace. Yeah.
Resilient.
My grandmother, we did one thing, but even though it was trying times, in a way we still went without. And I still appreciate my upbringing, because I wouldn't be
absolutely
the woman that I am. And then as far as my mother, it was a difficult time. It was a difficult time, and I think because I explained to you earlier, it's a little. I don't really understand what love is, and it's hard for me to recognize love, because I don't ever really remember receiving it. Like my grandmother, granted, she did so many things, and I know her showing her love was taking care of us and doing things for us, and then spitting knowledge to us whenever she could. But I can't remember my grandmother ever hugging me, ever kissing me. Wow. I can't remember my mother ever hugging me, or ever even telling me I love you. My father, he was just in and out of my life, you know what I mean? So I don't, and then my grandfather, he was just a fussing fool. You know how old men are, and they just love to fuss about everything.
So the only time you feel like you were really nurtured, per se, was from your grandmother?
Yeah. That was the only person who nurtured me. So I remember me and my siblings, we sat down and we vowed that, we would, because we got this, strong bond. And we made a pact,
all 8 of you?
Yeah. We're in a group message, we'll send out, and I'm always the inspirational one, no matter what's going on today, hope you guys have a blessed day, I love you. We never verbally say I love you. We'll say it through a text. And even with my ex-fiance, that was the first man I've ever loved. But I don't know if it was the kind of love that I understood, because when now that I think about it, and I was like, did I really love him, or did I love the things that he did for me? Because he took care of me.
Wow.
He got me out of the hole.
Yeah.
So I don't until this day,
real love.
I don't know. Granted, I love him.
Now, current day, if say you and him wanted to be back in a relationship, do you think that same feeling is still there?
No.
So then it may not have been.
Yeah. No, but I love him as a person, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No.
I want to talk to you about your mom a little bit. I know you touched on it, and you and I spoke a little earlier about our mothers. How has your upbringing with your mother and her being an addict, how has it affected you today?
At one point, I was really embarrassed of my mother. I was really embarrassed. I remember her coming to my 8th grade ribbon pinning. And you know how old women are, in the back of their heel get a little crusty. Hers was extremely crusty.
Laugh.
And I remember the kids ew. Who mom is that? Ew. And I was like, oh, shit. Damn, you couldn't put no Vaseline on.
No cocoa butter.
Man, you got on these fucking sandals. You could put some Vaseline on something. And I remember they called my name to get my ribbon pin. And I remember the kids, snickering and everything. And I remember being so pissed. And I was like, yo, I'm sick of you. Come on, man. Every time you come to anything of mine, it's almost an embarrassment. And I remember this last situation. I talked to you about this last night at dinner. And I ended up receiving an award for being a Renaissance woman from Lonnie Love, Mocha Cafe with MC Light and a few other amazing women. and I was one of the recipients, and it was a banquet dinner. Mind you, you got fancy forks, fancy spoons. I don't know what any of this stuff is, and Lonnie Love, she was so amazing. Shout out to you, Lonnie. Like, that's my girl. Lonnie was so amazing. She was like, this one, this fork. But then meanwhile, on the side of me, my mom, because I'm like, Mom, this is like, I want you there. I need you there. You know what I mean? And she was like, I'm there. But she came so tore up. She was tore up. She was out of there. And while she was eating, and my mom, I love my mom. And I learned to rise above all her flaws, all of that. She's human. Mm-hmm. And I remember that was the last time I said, I will not be embarrassed by you ever again. Mm-hmm. But she was eating soup and was slurping it ever so loud. And everybody looking, mind you, it's quiet. You can hear a pin drop. It's quiet. But you hear, this is good. What's in this soup? Now, my soup don't taste like this. And you hear clink, 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 cleaning the plate, clink, clink, clink. And it's like, yo. So I kept kicking her under the table like, chill out.
Oh, my God.
And I remember a lady was received an award, and she was saying her speech. And my mom was doing something irritating. And I kind of like nudged her. And she was like, kick me one more, real loud. Kick me one more time.
Wow, the lady was getting her award. Wow.
And I remember Lonnie pulling me to the side and saying, you know what, I love you. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're ready to, you know, I'm here for you. But that's going to always be your mother. I said, I know. And she said, and I love her. Mm-hmm. She real. I love her. Mm-hmm. Take care of your mama, though. Mm-hmm. She need that from you. She loves you, and I know you love her. Mm-hmm. Y'all make sure y'all be sure to, you know, reciprocate it to one another. And I was like, yeah, whatever, Lonnie. Like, thank you. But I was like, you don't understand. Like, I wanted to pat, pat, pat. But then I remember going home and just, like, I kept replaying that moment in the back of my head, but then I kept hearing my grandmother's voice. And I remember going back and telling my granny, like, what happened? Like, Grandma, let me tell you what your daughter did. Can you believe she went in there acting a plum fool? And my grandma was, listen, you only get one mother. Mm-hmm. I don't care what she do, what she say, you only get one mother. And then she'll always say, you know she's sick. She ever since we were kids, even when things came up missing, Granny, this came up. You know it ain't her. Yep. It's not her. You know she's sick. She ain't in her right mind. And my grandmother always, and it took for when my grandmother passed last year, and I think that's when me and my mother kind of finally like made that mend even stronger. Mm-hmm. Because I resented my mother for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But I kept telling myself, I'm going to close different chapters in my life. Because I feel like it's holding me back. It's a lot of things that I want to do, but I can't because I get too embarrassed or I get cold feet. And it's because of the things that coming from my mother.
Now, do you still resent your mother?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think it happened. I think all of that resentment went away when my grandmother passed. Because I would keep replaying in my head, you only get one mother. Mm-hmm. You only get one mother. And because I lost the one person that I ever loved and who had ever shown me love, I feel like I have to abide by the things that she had taught me, and I have to abide by the words that she had, you know, sent to me. So now, me and my mother's bond, it's a lot stronger than ever before. Because I'll tell you, I couldn't sit in the same room with my mother. Mm-hmm. That's how bad I resented her.
Yeah.
And now...
Have you and your mom had conversations about this resentment and just the upbringing and the
She never really wants to talk about it. And when you do, she feels like everybody is against her. Because I remember like one of my sisters, she's a very intelligent woman. My little sister, she would be the one to spark the conversation because she's good at stuff like that. Because 9 times out of 10, if I bring it up, it'll turn to an argument. Yeah. I don't want to give you that energy. I don't want to argue with you today. Yeah. But my sister, she would bring it up, and then my mom, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, you trying to beat me up. Now you ganging up on me. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no, Mom, just everybody not out to get you. Right. Everything is not about you. And
it's like a mirror is being held up to her face.
And she don't want to recognize it. Yeah. She choose not to recognize it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I too have had similar upbringing as you with my mom and my relationship with my mom, to where I resented my mom for being a drug addict and for leaving me and for leaving me in places and leaving me around people who hurt me. I was molested 3 different times. And each time I was molested, which what I thought was because my mom left me. And I grew up, and even till as of recent day, have this resentment, like, because you weren't there, this happened to me. Because you weren't there, this happened to me. Because you didn't teach me this happened to me. And I think it's so important as you're building your crown to let go of all of that hurt, all of that turmoil, all those emotions, and clear them so you can continue to build the confidence, the resilience, the optimism, the willpower.
Absolutely.
What do you need from your mom?
Now, nothing. Now,
When
nothing. And if it is, I wouldn't know.
At the time when you resented her the most, what did you feel you needed from her?
Just her to be present.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I hate for somebody to do is to take the credit for things that they don't deserve credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my mom did that a lot. And then when I do bring up certain things, or when I do talk about certain things, and she'll, like now when she'll see it on TV, even if it has nothing to do with her, you wasn't raised that way. What do you, Mom? You wasn't there, so you don't get to tell me what happened in my life. And I think she feel like she's being attacked. Because in a lot of my interviews, I always used to talk about my grandmother. I never really bring her up.
Yeah.
Because I don't have many stories to tell. And the ones that I do have, they're not that great. They're not that great.
You said you needed her just to be there.
At one point, I wanted her to just be there and just be sober. Just be a mother. I remember my grandmother being so just broke down and tired. At one point, she got really sick. We thought she was leaving. And I'm like, who gonna take care of us? Because every time my grandfather argued, I'm putting all y'all out. That was his way of threatening all of us. All y'all gotta go. And it's like, where the hell we gonna go? And then a lot of my aunties like, I ain't taking in all your kids. So it's just like, yo, like, Mom, get it to, like, if she died, like, you, come on. I just need you to get better.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing from, just get better.
What did you feel like you were lacking with her not being there?
Just learning certain things. And I feel like I yearned, one thing I learned that I started doing and didn't even recognize I was doing it until later on, I found myself clinging to older women. And I couldn't understand why. And I remember people like, why you with this old, you don't even hang with this grown woman. Not old, like 78 year, like 40-something year old women, like this is my friend. This is not right. You're 20 with a 40-year-old, and it makes me look at this 40-year-old like, what are you doing? What do you have in common with this
20-year-old?
20-year-old. I found myself clinging to older women because I didn't realize it until later on down the line that I was looking for just mother antics or whatever.
The older women you being around, what were they giving to you?
They weren't giving me a damn thing. That's the thing.
They were. That's why you cling to them. They were giving you something. They were offering something that you weren't getting from over here.
Now my godmom, at one point, she was like, she did everything that I admired, because she had 2 girls, and her oldest daughter was my best friend, and we had been friends for like 6 years. And I remember like always like being around them, and they're always doing like family gatherings. Like, even though I'm very family oriented, but I had never seen a mother just like take care of her girls the way that this woman had.
Right.
And I remember her, like, whenever they asked for something, she like give it to them, no questions asked, and like just giving it to them. And I remember saying like, man, I can't tell you when the last time I asked for something and could just get it off GP. And I envied that at one point. And then I remember like not like just literally pushing my family to the side, my siblings, my grandmother, everybody, just to be with them. Because I wanted to be a part of that picture. But didn't realize like, no, you belong up there.
Yeah. Wow.
This you.
Wow.
This ain't yours. And I remember being my godmom was actually my hairstylist at one point. And it's sad to say like we're not friends anymore because of misunderstanding. But yeah, I clung to that woman, and she even when I landed the role on Empire, she was like helping me book my flights and like going with me, flying with me, because I kept saying, I'm scared. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And she had no problem booking her a flight and flying with me. She had no problem telling me this is that. Like, she had no problem just helping me.
It was a companionship.
And I can't remember the last time I got help from anybody.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I gotten genuine help. Besides from my grandmother taking care of me, and I think it was because of her, well, I know it was because that's her duty. You took on this duty to take care of us.
Yes.
But I can't remember anybody just lending me a hand off GP because I was always the one giving.
Yeah, giving. And I think a lot of the times people who are givers and just over givers and just always pouring is because they never had anybody pouring into them.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
When we get to the W in our crown, the willpower, and I always say willpower is it's a burning desire to win, to succeed. Where does your W come from? Where does your willpower come from?
My childhood, my past.
And is it because I don't ever want to go back?
I don't want to go back. I was at the bottom for so long, and literally, I lived in a basement that flooded every time it rained, even if it drizzled. And I kept telling myself, I don't want to go back. I remember like literally moving out as soon as I graduated high school. I was like 17, 18. And I was like, and my sister bought a house and I was like, can I please move with you? I cannot stay here. And then that was around the time my mom had just moved in with us. She was finally allowed to come around us. She just moved in. But then everything was coming up missing. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't keep living like this, man.
Wow.
And I was doing hair at the time. I was doing hair and I was designing prom dresses. So I was bringing in nice little money. And it was at one point where I was like peeling my grandmother off money. Like, Granny, you good? That's what my grandma did. I don't care what nobody, I was my grandma's favorite.
My grandma's favorite.
I was my grandma's favorite. My grandma didn't want for nothing when it came to her granddaughters. And I remember everything just coming up missing. I kept saying, I can't do this, man. This is tiring. And then I'm up all wee hours of the morning, wee hours of the night, working tirelessly. At that point, I had 2 jobs. I was working at a shoe store, all-man shoe store, as an assistant and assistant manager, and then I was the butcher. But I was doing that part-time at one point. And then when I get off from both jobs, I would do hair, and then I'm designing dresses. So I was literally working 7 days a week. I'm tired. And then for me to work my ass off and then got to come home to my money that I worked so hard for being stolen, it was like, yo,
I'm out.
I can't do this. And then the older I got, the more I wanted to be better. I don't know anybody in my family who owns anything.
Wow. Hello.
I don't know anybody who owns anything, like literally own a house. They're like done paying a car note.
Right.
And I kept saying, I'm not going to be the one. I'm not going to be the one that's going to be paying the rent forever.
And you don't know where this was.
I don't know where it's coming from, but I know.
I won't be the one. The spirit of I'm going to win. You don't know where this was coming from.
It was just in me. And like you said, when you feel, like I said this earlier, when you feel misplaced, I knew I just don't belong.
You didn't fit.
I didn't belong at one point. And I couldn't understand why. Even with all my friends, I kept wondering why I can't keep friends for so long. And I don't have many of them. But then I get tired of you, and I just be like,
bye.
Because I'm doing this, but you're still right here. And I'm doing this. And now it's like, you can't pour into me.
Yeah.
If I'm pouring everything into you can't give back. I'm giving you, I keep giving you advice, but you're not able to give me that. And then when I need a lending ear, you don't even want to listen. I can't, we're not friends.
Yeah.
We're not on the same level. And I find myself like literally meeting people, different people all the time. And I get different experiences every time.
Yeah.
And at one point I wasn't as social as I am. And the more social I've become, I learned to just like, I see people. And it's amazing. I love people, man. I love their stories. I love hearing what they got to say. I love hearing their opinions. And then I gravitate from that. And then I learn how to use that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I got people skills. I learned how to have people skills. But I always told myself I'm not, in my sister boy, I'm never going back, never going back. No, you can't make me. I refuse to go back to the bottom because I've been down there for so long.
Yeah.
It's trash.
So my favorite part of the crown, and clearly God has had such a heavy hand in your life in the beginning. You have such an anointing over you, and there were seeds that he planted in you. You were ordained for this, and you didn't know this whole time. Living in the basement, living with your mom, having 8 siblings, sharing beds, being in a ward of the state, coming back, having a mother who is currently still an addict. This has all helped you build your crown. And when you walk into a room with a crown on, your presence is different. Your aura is different. Your energy is different. And that's why people gravitate towards you, because you're so infectious. Your spirit is so heavy. And because God was working on you this whole time. in order to keep that, when you have that crown, have this special gift that God gave you, in order to protect it and keep it, you have to set non-negotiables. My favorite part of the crown is the end. Mm-hmm. What are some non-negotiables? You have to set clear non-negotiables too. You can't play around with your non-negotiables. You can't half-ass non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. These are my non-negotiables, because you have to teach people how to treat you. In this business, in this journey, you building your crown, knowing what you know now, what are non-negotiables that you have set?
I always say I never take no for an answer. Mm-hmm. I've been hearing the word no for so long. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how to accept the word no. I accepted it. Mm-hmm. And then I learned to accept some no's. All no's don't mean no. It just mean not yet.
Yep.
And I remember getting no so many times, until one day when I remember getting my first job. Not my first job, but my first big job, working at the nursing home. Mm-hmm. And I knocked on every hospital door, and everybody was like, you know what? You're an amazing person, but you don't have enough experience. Mm. And I remember that last lady telling me, I like you, but. And I was like, listen, how do you expect me to gain experience if nobody won't give me a chance?
Right.
And that was when she gave me my first chance. Mm-hmm. And I learned from there. And then I live by 3 rules in life. There's lie, steal, and pimp.
Lie, steal, and pimp.
Lie, steal, and pimp. Those are my 3 non-negotiables, meaning lie down your own rules, steal every opportunity that comes your way, and make this world your bitch.
Wow.
Lie, steal, and pimp. Those are my 3 rules.
Lie, steal, and pimp.
Yep.
Non-negotiables. Never take no for an answer.
Yep.
I built my crown. I've walked into my confidence. I'm resilient. Been bended, broken, stretched, resilient. I'm thinking optimistically. I have the willpower, burning desire to win, and I've set clear non-negotiables, and I'm not taking no for an answer. And that is how Queen TaRhonda has built her crown. And I want to ask you one last question before we get out of here. Along the journey, learning all these new things along the way, being around all these new people, being open to all these new perspective and ideas and creation, what do you have now that you originally didn't have coming to the table?
My voice. I've always had it, but it was a whisper. It was like a really soft whisper. And now, you can't tell me nothing. Mm-hmm. You can't shut me up. You can't tell me to keep it down. You can't tell me any of that. Because I refuse to not be heard.
Yeah.
That's my man. I refuse to not be heard. All that, I'm so used to doing this. Look at me. Hey.
I'm here.
Now it's like, hello. All right. Here's what's going to happen. My voice.
Nice.
And I don't think I was ever allowed to use it. I remember, now I always been a little roughneck. We ain't gonna bring up my past, but I always been a little roughneck. And like a lot of people, they knew I went for bad at one point. But I still allowed the people who I thought loved me or who I thought I loved walk over me and wouldn't say anything. Not because I didn't know how, but I was too busy focusing on their feelings to where I thought, baby, you forgot about your own. What about you? And that's how I learned the anchor. I call it the anchor rule. I learned how to let go. And this is to anybody who's going through a particular journey or just trying to get anywhere. During that journey, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose things.
Yep.
But we got to learn how to let go. And I call it an anchor. And I mean that by ships, anchors and ships. All ships ain't good ships. With some ships got this heavy anchor and they just weigh you down. And ship, I mean friendship, partnership, relationship. All kinds of ships. Yep. They're not good ships. Yep. And then people got to learn that you're a limited edition. And once you realize you're a limited edition, and once you realize everybody can't have the luxury of having you, or being in your presence,
say that again.
You just gotta learn how to you gotta let some anchors go. And if you conflicted on letting that ship go, that's what they make lifeboats for. That's what they make lifeboats for. Yep. And that was another hard thing I really had to learn during this particular journey. Because now everybody was coming out the woodworks. I did this for you. Okay, but I did it for myself too. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yep.
But then the older I've gotten and the more people I've met and more people started, I just learned. Yeah. I started learning. And I learned how to let go. And that was one of my biggest things that I battled. letting certain things and people go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I want to remind you, it is not where you are right now that makes you a queen, that makes you a king, that puts this crown on. TaRhonda's not a queen because she's a recurring series regular on Empire. TaRhonda's a queen because of her journey, because of her coming from the basement, coming from the mud, having the 8 siblings, living in an environment where she had to share a bed, but having the confidence, the resilience, the optimism, the willpower, and setting the non-negotiables that got her to Empire, and that's what makes her a queen. So today, I am crowning Queen TaRhonda on Beneath the C.R.O.W.N. Thanks for tuning in. Hey!
Don't look at me, look at the floor. Thank you, Ernie.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that.
This is so awesome. Thank you for doing this. Awesome.
All right. Now, before we go, what's next for TaRhonda? And then we're going to do some music.
Okay.
Okay. We'll touch that in a minute.
What she has coming up next?
Exactly.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I want you to tell everybody what you've been working on and what you have coming out next. 'Cause I know you've been working on some cool stuff.
Yes. I have a movie coming out next year, 2019, the beginning of 2019, called Captive State with John Goodman.
Wow.
Also did the Angly Ever After.
Yes.
I'm also working on a talk show situation. It's top secret.
Little situation, a little something.
Top secret.
Oh, I'm getting
And
exclusive.
then, yeah, top secret. And I got some other little stuff in the works. I'm actually working on a little cooking podcast.
A little. It ain't little.
But right now, it Ain't Your Mama's
Ain't
Cooking.
that little.
It's called Ain't Your Mama's Cooking. I'm working on it, and it's with me and my sister, and we take recipes from my mother's, but we put our own little, the little millennial spin on it, and it ain't your mama's cooking. It's actually better. And and my music.
I'm about to say,
oh my
you're not about to
goodness,
get
I
out
can't
of
forget
here.
about my music.
Oh, wait a minute. I need you to spit a little quick little chunk for my followers because they don't even know. Y'all
my
don't even know,
goodness.
y'all. I was in her car, in my car last night bumping her stuff like you gotta leave us with a little something before you
Okay,
go.
all right. Listen, 1988 was the year that I was established. I came to let these bras know that I am not your average. You would think my name was Pookie off in New Jack City, cause my money keep on calling me, and I'ma go get it. Christian Dior fitted, Ciroc and Patron sipping, slam dunking on you bitches. I'm Jordan, you hoes pippin'. That means you's a sidekick, and I'm a boss chick. Swag so supreme, I'm on my Diana Ross shit.
Hey! TaRhonda Jay. Y'all
Yes.
heard it here first. I got the exclusive today. I'm excited. We got a little talk show coming, little cooking shows coming. New music just dropped. TaRhonda Jay, where can they follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram, TaRhonda Jay. That's TaRhonda Jay. Same thing for Twitter, and my Facebook is my whole name, TaRhonda Jones.
Hey, Beneath the C.R.O.W.N.